them areas of the spine of the team, you might have had a problem as League of Ireland experience, but I think both teams have strengthened really well through the spine of the team.
Chris Shields getting up there well to win that header, and it's a hefty challenge by Luke Heaney on Junior. And it's come again to Ryan O'Kane. He's been involved early in this game, gotten a few touches of the ball which will help him settle in. That one's just nicked away from him though by Luke Heaney, and Brandon Birmingham sells Heaney a little bit short. And it's gone back across the back for Andy Boyle. Dan Cleary, unmistakable figure over on that far side, and that's been intercepted, and here comes Drogheda again. It's James Clark moving forward. He's got support outside him from Conor Kane. As usual, Conor Kane spends more time in the opponent's half than his own, really. Back here to Ronan Murray, another one of those new signings, former Dundalk man, of course, 3 goals in 23 appearances for the Lily Whites in 2018. Nice little bit of play there from James Brown, skips inside, lays it out to Brandon Birmingham. His man loses his footing, it's crossed into the near post, and it's cleared by Andy Boyle. Darragh Leahy just lost his footing there as Brandon Birmingham was trying to get around him, and that made the process a little bit easier for the Drogheda wide man. And it's first corner of the game, and it goes to the home side. As we said, they haven't won this fixture since 2014, so they could really do it redressing the balance on that one. And it's going to be Jake Hyland with that left foot, swings it in underneath the crossbar. The keeper is all over the place, and it's been scrambled clear, but it's come back again, and is it a free out? The referee says no play on. It's back to James Clark. A real scramble in the goal there. It was Daniel O'Reilly who the ball dropped to. And we were talking about new signings. That wasn't particularly convincing goalkeeping from Alessio Obibi there, Paul.
No, he's came into a mad area, hasn't he? He's came out, he's got caught under the players, and you won't see a bigger scramble than that, I don't think, in a game. Ball bouncing around for probably 8 or 10 seconds. No one could clear it, no one could tap it in.
So Dundalk survive, and a really uncomfortable moment for the new goalkeeper there. He's a big man, but he was all at sea there when he came out for that ball. But Dundalk survive, and they have possession in the shape of Andy Boyle.
You see
playing it patiently across the back.
You see Dundalk setting up with a 3 at the back, nearly like a 3-4-3, which is interesting. It's something they didn't play last year too much. Yeah, domestically anyway, I think they did in Europe a bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a system that they've tried, I suppose, and maybe it's the time to do it. Drogheda, of course, have flipped between a 4-3-3 and a 3 at the back at different points. Last season they switched during games at some points, so they're a little bit flexible as well. Here comes Conor Kane cutting inside. He thought about a shot for a moment, but plays it to Ronan Murray in that number 17 jersey. James Brown pushing forward, gets the cross in, and again a BB comes and
offside.
Gets a fist to it, and the referee's given a free out this time. The linesman's flag was up. It was Chris Lyons who went in, and the goalkeeper is down injured. Peter Cherry, of course, a very familiar face, is on the bench for Dundalk today, returning to the club. And who knows, maybe in the long run Cherry will prove to be the number 1, but for the minute it's a BB, and he's just got a bit of a belt in his side, I think, there. Got a punch on that one, but again, Paul, I'm not sure if I'm being a little bit harsh on him. It wasn't the most convincing attempt, but again, he was under a bit of pressure, in fairness to him.
No, we're only be harsh to, I suppose, comment too quick on him, but there's 2 balls he had to deal with. One he's caught under, and the second one, I don't think he's going to be a keeper that wants to catch balls, is he? Like he's flapped at the first one, he's gone to punch the second one, I think. But Chris Lyons won't mind ramming into him there and giving him a little test early as well, like.
Letting him know he's there, Chris Lyons. He certainly does that on a regular basis to defenders as well. And now Dundalk trying to play it out from the back. Daniel Cleary, and he slips it into Shields a second time, and this time Shields comes under pressure from Jake Hyland but gets away and slipped down the line by Jurkowskis, and it's come back to Chris Shields again. And again, Jurkowskis, the Latvian international, 13 caps for his home country, and a very experienced player, only 24 though, so plenty of years left in him as well. Now here comes Drogheda again. It's James Brown under a little bit of pressure from Val Adedokan, and it's throw into Drogheda United. And thrown into Chris Lyons there. A nice little bit of skill, takes it away from Chris Shields. Back to James Brown. And back again. Nice tidy bit of play there from Ronan Murray. Here's Daniel O'Reilly.
Oh, short.
That's a little bit short. Luke Hyland rather came under a bit of pressure. That was a dicey enough ball there, and I don't think Tim Clancy over on the far side of the field was too happy about it. It was a little bit of a risky one there, Paul. They just about survived it, though.
I think what he's saying is you can see him across the pitch, like when you can go forward, go forward. They just tried to restart again from the back, and a bit of a hospital ball. He was lucky, and Chris Shields, that's him out of jail with it.
And so Drogheda with this new look centre back pairing with Daniel O'Reilly and Dane Massey, and of course Hughie Douglas on the bench. He was so impressive for them last year. Here they come on the attack though, and it's James Clark just using his footing, and it's intercepted and cleared down the line, but to nobody in particular. David McMillan can't get onto that one, and it's gone out for a throw in to Drogheda United.
They've started brighter, haven't they, Drogheda? They've kept the ball better, their press looks better. Dundalk, what way they really started,
they're very keen on not to play it out from the back, it seems, all the time.
I'm trying to miss the midfield at times, but again, I think we talked about it at the start, like, you know, when you bring in so many players to a new group, Drogheda don't have that, you know, they've just added, you know, the team know the way they want to play, the players have played together, so you're going to get this patchiness from Dundalk.
It's Brandon Birmingham picking up possession, and he's crossed into the centre circle, plays the ball over towards James Clark. One of the goals of the season last year, slips it down to Conor Kane again, attacking, and again Drogheda, good attacking play from them. It's played back towards Murray, it's over his head, it's come to James Brown, cuts it back, Luke Heaney has it, and it's swung in towards the back post, but over everybody, and looks like it's going to beat them all, and it has indeed gone out for a goal kick. James Brown and Luke Heaney involved in that move, two men who of course got the crucial goals up in Stradbrook last year when Drogheda secured promotion finally to Premier Division, not having to go through the playoff route, which had broken their hearts a few years in a row, but straight through the front door last season and back in the Premier Division. And as you were saying before the game, Paul, the last time Drogheda came up, there was almost a sense that it came a bit too soon from them. They didn't really invest too much in the squad, but this time, as we said, they brought in some really good players. They're obviously keen on not just holding their own, but making an impression in the Premier Division, which is great to see. Yeah,
it's a horrible saying, isn't it? Like, as a manager, if you hear people talking about going up too early, like, you know, you're fighting and you're working, and players are working so hard to get up. I hate hearing that, you know, and it is said in football, isn't it, a lot? We get up too early, like, but the club have been really prepared, and it's up to the club to be prepared for the manager and the players, you know, to give them the position to go again. And I think with the signings, they want a bit more than staying up, you know. I think, like, before any signings, you're thinking two teams up, okay, Longford, Drogheda, that's our fight, we need to stay up, that's the first thing we want this year. But Longford are always going to struggle to make big signings that far down on Saturday night football. That all goes against you, so I don't think they've overly strengthened well compared to Drogheda, so I think they'll be looking to push on this year.
Absolutely, and here come Dundalk, who, as we were talking about before the game, are straight into a President's Cup game against Rovers next week, so they won't have too much time to bed in these new players. They've got a throw in, and it's going to be taken, and it's back towards Dara Leahy, and now back to Andy Boyle, across to Daniel Cleary. Again, patient play from Dundalk. They've been, as I said, very deliberate in their balls out from the back. That's a terrible ball from Cleary, and it's straight to a Drogheda shirt, but they've won it back, and it's Junior over on the far side, and it's tried to slip back into him again. Is that a penalty? No, referee says play on.
He has to give a penalty.
Dragged wide, and referee says goal kick.
He has the whistle. He put the whistle up to his mouth, and I swear,
a touch on the ball. No,
I don't. It's like he let it go then, as if, I don't know, he felt they were going to score.
Yeah, there were certainly appeals from Dundalk.
Chris Shields is having a go at him there, like, because he lifted. I watched him straight away as soon as the contact was made, and he went to put the whistle near his mouth. Whether he felt he was going in to score, but you can't give advantage on a penalty. Like, if it's inside the box, you give it or you don't. He didn't give it.
No VAR here, of course, and here come Drogheda United looking to make good on that little bit of fortune. It's James Clark getting inside the box. Plays across to Chris Lyons. Strong interception there from Andy Boyle. It's dropped back though to Luke Heaney, and again Conor Kane over on the far side of the field. He's got Jurkowskis in front of him, gets his cross in towards the back post. It's well defended there by Val Adedokun, and it's James Brown again, a lovely ball outside of his foot to Murray, and it's popped up off Adedokun's boot, and it's played back to Luke Heaney again, and Drogheda recycling the ball well, they're keeping possession, and it's back towards Conor Kane. 12 minutes gone here, almost 13 at Head in the Game Park. I will no doubt say United Park at some stage on the commentary, but for the moment, doing okay. Here's James Brown, and he's flicked the ball off Adedokan. It's gone out for a throw in.
They're getting some joy Drogheda down that left side, aren't they? With that three at the back, Dundalk are playing, wing backs have to do their work, and they're just getting torn to shreds on the left hand side with Conor Kane.
Yeah, Conor Kane and James Brown, as we've said so many times when we've seen Drogheda play, love to get forward, love to attack, and today is no different, and they're going to be really valuable attacking assets once again this season for Drogheda United. Do so much good work, and as we talked about, for as long as they were in the first division, there was always a worry that those players were going to leave, but they've held on to them, and now they're back in the Premier. Here's 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛 again, made that good interception header at the back post there a few moments ago. Back to Leahy, across to Andy Boyle, and again Daniel Cleary. His distribution so far in this game has been a little bit hit and miss. He's played a few balls into midfield that have left the players in trouble. They're still trying to play it out from the back. Nice little move, and it's just a little bit misdirected there from Darragh Leahy. A little bit unfortunate there, in fairness to him. It was just a little bit off target, but it was a good idea and a good option. And the sun shining here at United Park, head in the game, Park.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a throw in to Dundalk. Substitutes incidentally for Dundalk first: Peter Cherry, Patrick Hooban, Greg Sloggett, Pat McElhenney, Mariuya Aminashan, Jesus Perez, and Herman Fiamati. So a few familiar and a few not so familiar names on the bench. And Aminashan, I'm told, is a very promising academy prospect. And we'll run you through the Drogheda subs in a moment. Just before we'll wait and watch this free kick. It's going to be, again, we've got Ryan O'Kane and 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛 standing over it. It's going to be O'Kane, I think, with his right foot. It's a good ball in. It's a great ball and a free header at the back post. It was Andy Boyle, completely unmarked, Paul, and I was just waiting for the net to bulge there.
Yeah, it's a fantastic delivery. My God, you just have to put your head in it. The weight is on it, the accuracy is on it. Andy Boyle is coming onto it. He'll never get an easier chance to score ahead of the marking. It's Jake Hyland's given a silly free kick out wide for a push in the back, and it's something I'd say Tim will be saying that Dundalk will be really dangerous from set pieces. That's where they've definitely aerial height on Drogheda here today, but how they're not 1-0 up, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great chance, best chance of the game so far. And it fell to Andy Boyle, a beautiful ball in. We talked about Ryan O'Kane earlier, just 17, as I said, made his debut at 15 in the Northern Irish League for Warrenpoint, which is an incredible stat, and he looks like a real talent. And the fact that even, Paul, that he's on the free kicks already is a pretty good sign for him. It's a nice bit of play from James Clark, really good footwork, digs himself out of it. Looked like a foul on Chrissy Lyons from behind. The referee does give it, played the advantage there, and then brought it back. Something he didn't do a few moments ago, potentially for a penalty.
Something similar, but he blew the whistle this time, I think. Yeah, just going back 15 years of age, making your debut. But as you said there, with all the personnel that's on the pitch there, to be left single-handedly to be over the free kick, but you could see the delivery was as good as anywhere as you'd see it. Just hitting areas, like everything you'd talk to free kick takers, just areas, and let people attack the areas. And again, how the net wasn't bulging. 6 yards out.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity.
Really harder to miss.
Dane Massey's playing a bit of cat and mouse with 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛 here. He's shaped a couple of times to take the free kick quickly, and 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛's been scampering back across. We saw an incident in the Premier League last week where Brighton stuck one in, and it was ruled out. But Drogheda have taken this a little bit cute. They've played it sideways, and then it was Conor Kane. I can only imagine that was a shot, but it was a pretty poor one. Surprising to see him shooting from there, but if it was an attempt at a cross, it was way overhit. But so good opportunity for Drogheda, comes to naught, and we have just 17 minutes gone here at Head in the Game Park, and it's still 0-0 between these two local sides. And Drogheda so far having the better of it, you have to say, but the one really good chance came for Dundalk, and they should be 1-0 up. And I would like to see that penalty incident again, just to see if there was contact on the ball or the player, because it looked from here as if the referee was thinking about giving it and then decided not to, but maybe the defender did get a touch. So nice bit of play again from O'Kane, leaves James Brown behind him, and it's come back to 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛, and again it's rolled in, and it's Sam Stanton, another new signing, came in from the US, ex-Dundee United player, and Drogheda break out, but that's going to roll back safely towards the goalkeeper. It was Daniel Cleary who tidied it up, and Chris Shields drops back, takes the ball off his centre half Andy Boyle, who had that great opportunity a few moments ago. He'll be raging that he didn't stick that one away. but it's still 0-0, and it's over on the far side of the field. Daniel Cleary has it, steps away from Chris Lyons and away from Ronan Murray. Nice play from Cleary and a beautiful ball over to his near side, and 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛 just couldn't take it in. And we were talking about coming out from the back there, and some of his passes hadn't been perfect, but that was a nice bit of play from Cleary, stepping out of a couple of tackles and spraying. Well, it was a great ball over here. 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛 just couldn't control the ball. Well, we'll just break away from that for a moment, because they won it back on the edge of the box, Dundalk, and the shot came in from Junior, but it was harmlessly struck really and rolled safely into the hands of David 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛.
Yeah, just going back to Cleary and centre halves, when that space is left there, you know, you're asking centre halves to drive into the space. You see what he did there for the first time, trying to create a 2v1 in the middle of the park when the space is there, and then the press is on from Drogheda and he just plays over the press.
Lovely play from James Brown, cutting inside his man and playing it to Brandon Birmingham. He's got Chris Lyons in the box, but nobody else really coming in on the back post is James Clark, and Drogheda really need to throw a few more bodies into the box there, because that was a great bit of play from James Brown. Birmingham with the cross in, but it was really Chris Lyons, and he was outnumbered by 2 or 3 white shirts, so opportunity missed for Drogheda to get bodies in there, but they've got the throw in on the far side of the field. And it's Conor Kane in towards Chris Lyons. He sometimes does a little roll away and has a shot with his right, but he took that one down and laid it back, and now it's over here towards James Brown again. And once again, him and Birmingham linking up well. Birmingham,
it's good.
That's a great ball in, and it's a goal! 1-0. Great ball in from Brandon Birmingham, and he's been getting the better of Darragh Leahy, Paul. He's gotten his crosses in a few times, and with just about 20 minutes gone, Chris Lyons rather gives Drogheda United the lead. I was wondering, was there a touch off the defender on the header there, but in any case it ends up in the net, looped into the corner. The keeper had no chance, but great play again down this right hand side from
and it came from the left again. They're switching the ball really quick, and something you can say to players, can you get out with your feet and keep moving it? Conor came back into midfield. Brown and Birmingham are getting great joy up this side. Leahy doesn't like that defensive side of the game too much. I think he's young and stuff, but you can hear the players saying get at him, get at him, get at him when he was 1-on-1. I think that's a third or fourth cross he's getting to ball, but the difference with Chris Lyons this time is he's getting across the centre half. It's the first time I've watched him gamble to get across the centre half, and he deserves the goal.
And Drogheda United, you'd have to say, probably deserve the lead in the balance of play.
Yeah, no, I think they've started a better side. I think Dundalk look a bit biddy, if you like to say. Drogheda's press is better here. You can see them. They're leaving one centre half on the ball all the time. That's where they need to step in. Again, Boyle's just done it there. They've been playing passes from distance. They need to step into the midfield, these 3 centre halves, when the space is left, because it's something Drogheda have set up as leave one centre half on it and we'll organise the other side of the pitch. But deserved goal, deserved lead. Excellent cross. Moved the ball really well, and brilliant from Chris Lyons getting across centre half.
So 1-0 to the home side, and I suppose, Paul, as well, Chris Lyons, you know, regular starter last year, no guarantee this year that he'll be starting with Dinny Corcoran coming in, so he's probably got a point to prove as well. Didn't get as many goals last year as he got the season before, but still a vital cog in the team in terms of the work he puts in and the free kicks he wins. But I guess he'll probably feel under a little bit of pressure for his place as well. Let's break away from that for a minute. Again, Birmingham getting down the right hand side, controlling it beautifully, lays it back to Murray, and it's back to Brown. First time cross, it's a little bit low. O'Keaney got out of the way, and it's back to Dane Massey, nods it down to his left back, Conor Kane. Gets inside his man brilliantly there, Kane, and just runs away from a little bit. Sam Stanton got a foot in, but it's back with James Brown once again, and it's Danny O'Reilly. And it's over towards the far side again, and it's played back in towards Luke Heaney. Back to Massey, and he's had to work for that one. That was a loose pass from Heaney, and Drogheda put themselves under a little bit of pressure there when they didn't need to. They had comfortable possession of the ball, and then just got a little bit slack. And 𝗠𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛's kick has gone straight to the head of Andy Boyle, and that's offside, surely. No, referee says play on. But as I was saying there, Paul, Chris Lyons, he probably will feel like as he would want, a bit of pressure for places. So he's going to be delighted with that goal. If indeed, as I said, it might have been a touch off the defender, but we'll give it to Chris Lyons for the moment because I think he got the touch. But he'll be looking to prove a point, I guess. Yeah,
it's brilliant, isn't it, that they were able to strengthen with the likes of a centre forward like Dinny Corcoran. And what does that do for Chris Lyons or for any player? Like when you see that competition coming in, you got to raise your game, you know. The step up is going to be the Premier Division, so naturally they're going to have to anyway. So it'll be good. And listen, he can play every game. There's games that won't suit him, but as a number 9, he can occupy centre halves. You've seen it yourself.
Yeah.
He buys great free kicks. He doesn't get involved in centre half, so that'll annoy him even more. I think we talked about that before. He gets on with his game, and he's a nuisance to play against. He reminds me of a player I used to play with, Gary O'Neill. And he had a stint here as well at Drogheda, but could occupy a back four on his own. Very similar. Hold the ball up, buy free kicks. Would be the same. Get you 8 maybe goals. Not loads of goals, but very similar player.
It's a lovely ball again from Daniel Cleary over towards just near side. And 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 has had a little bit of joy against James Brown in this first half, but Brown has done okay, but certainly been brilliant going forward. But he's had a few tricky moments with 𝗠𝗠𝗧𝗖𝗛 there. But now O'Kane is in the box again. He gets around his man.
Yeah,
the referee's given this one. It's Luke Keane, puts his hands to his head.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's a penalty. And do you know what I was thinking when he ran at him? I was thinking his body shape is awful. He was just flat-footed, and I was thinking he can take you left, he can take you right. And with the ability he's shown early in this game, he's just stepped inside and he's bought a penalty, hasn't he? But I think as he shows him one way, he has a chance maybe making the tackle. But no, definite penalty.
And it's I'm surprised the way Ryan O'Kane has started this game. He's not taking the penalty himself, but he's leaving it to the senior man, and it's David McMillan. And it's 𝗠𝗠𝗧𝗖𝗛 who made 2 vital penalty saves, one in particular against UCD last year. Up comes McMillan, and he's sent him the wrong way. And it's 1-1. Good penalty from David McMillan and the foul on Ryan O'Kane. So 25 minutes gone, it's 1-1. David McMillan levelling things up from the spot. And that's a disappointing one from a Drogheda point of view to concede a penalty like that. And it was a softish one as well. Just got left for dead there. Luke Heaney, and great play from Ryan O'Kane. He's really been impressive in this first period. And we have 2 goals, 1 apiece at Head in the Game Park. 25 minutes gone, back underway again. A very lively pre-season friendly it has been, I have to say. Very entertaining as well. Great to be back watching live football, and we do say hello to everybody listening in and watching today. And hopefully it won't be too long before supporters are back in the ground, but in the meantime we're delighted to be able to bring you live coverage of these games here on LMFM, and of course on Drogheda's YouTube channel as well. And it's going to be a free kick, I would say. A referee giving it. Andy Boyle a little bit heavy-handed with Conor Kane there, and referee just awarding the foul and not taking any action. It's been a game played in a very good spirit so far. There's been no dirty tackles or anything like that.
Again, Kane there, you can see him, he's great legs, hasn't he? He just wants to get forward the whole time. And I think I can see with the signings they've made, Drogheda going to maybe a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 with Dane Massey maybe left side of centre half and Kane on the left, which, as we know, that's the half of the pitch he wants to be in anyway. So with himself and James Brown on either flanks, I can see that system really working for them.
So it's a free kick, and it's going to be Jake Hyland to take it. Where is it? It's actually whipped in. In fact, it was Owen Murray, I think, who took the free kick, but it's played back here towards James Brown. Lays it across towards Brandon Birmingham, but it's beaten him. It was well intercepted by 𝗠𝗠𝗧𝗖𝗛, and the ball causing all sorts of problems for Stewart.
Just while they're waiting for the ball to come back in, we won't let the day pass without my own condolences to Paul Dooley. He was a supporter here that I always remembered around the ground, and it'd be sadly missed by the Drogheda family, and just condolences to his own family as well.
Absolutely, we echo that, and that was the man who indeed a minute's silence was for before the game, as we said. And, we do pass on our condolences to the family and friends. There's Daniel O'Reilly, a big physical presence again at the back. Not too unlike Daniel Cleary in stature. Here's Brandon Birmingham. Now he's gotten into the box. What can he do? Well, he took a shot, and it's keeper. It was definitely going wide at the near post, I think, but the keeper took no chances, and it's conceded a corner.
Yeah, he's shot, and the keeper's on the front post, isn't he? And it was the one time you talked about it before that they weren't getting bodies into the box. I think they'd 4 in the box that time, just looking for him to lift his head and square it.
So again, Drogheda getting some joy down this right-hand side. It's where the goal came from, of course. If you've just joined us, Chris Lyons gave Drogheda the lead in 20 minutes, and then David McMillan levelled the scoring a couple of moments ago from the penalty spot. So 1-1 here at Head in the Game Park. And it's going to be Jake Hyland with the corner, swings it in. Again, the keeper thought about coming for this one, didn't in the end, and it was half cleared, but BB comes and claims it then in the middle of a load of white shirts. So punch for catch for the man they signed from
The initial one, as you
Albania.
said, it's a six. The ball's coming in a bit lofty on the 6-yard. You'd want your keeper coming and claiming them on the 6-yard box. You know, I'm
He
telling
looked like
you
he
now.
thought he'd be coming for
He
second,
did, yeah,
and then
didn't he? Yeah.
stayed. And it's a great ball again over towards Ardokun, and again James Brown just standing him up. Played back again to Dara Leahy, and towards Chris Shields in the centre circle. He hits a ball in the half volley over towards that far side of the field. It was 𝗠𝗑𝗧𝗖𝗛 who was bombing on, but it was intercepted well by Conor Kane, and it's gone out for throw in over on the far side of the field, and it's 𝗠𝗑𝗧𝗖𝗛 is going to take it. The Latvian, big man, and a lot of the signings, it's noticeable that Dundalk made are all very big in stature, none more so than Sonny Nadestad, who's not involved today, but 6'6", and I saw one of the Irish football journalists, I think it might have been Owen Kaiser, commenting on the first thing that he looked at any of the Dundalk signings at this point was the size of them, because they're all like 6 foot plus big men.
Right. It was interesting. I was listening to 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 talking there a while ago, and he was talking about signing players that fit the club. That if there is management change or anything, that the club have a culture and they have a style of play, and that's what they want to do this time. Where managers come in, new managers come in, and want to let 5 go and bring 5 in. They don't want to get down that road. Now, I don't know whether he was putting pressure on managers already, but that's what they were trying to, the route they were trying to go down. So sign a player, create a culture for the club and not just the manager. It's interesting.
Yeah, I suppose it's a model. It's maybe a kind of a director of football sort of a model anyway, which is I guess his role essentially. But yeah, it certainly is, and it's something that a lot of clubs have tried to do over the years across the water mainly. But it has mixed results, I guess, sometimes, because the role of the manager, Paul, though, in general, has it been diluted over the years in recent times? Like when we were younger, the manager was the buck stop with him, be all and end all. But now there's so many different levels and layers.
Definitely in England and definitely in Europe, 100%. These directors of football seem to have such a say, and I think that's the 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 role, as we talked about, that they're going to get down. I suppose, listen, there's so much money at stake with wages and stuff, and signing on fees at the likes of Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers now. Maybe Pat's the same, but after that I don't think. But so they have to get it right, like, or they leave themselves in trouble. So I think that's what the road he's going down anyway, and we'll see how it works for them.
We ran you through the Dundalk substitutes a few moments ago. We'll give you the Drogheda ones now. It's Colin McCabe, the sub-goalkeeper, Jack Shute, Hugh Douglas, Star Markey, Sam O'Brien, Mohamed Bouadiaf, Charles Matawe, Killian Phillips, Jordan Adiemo and Ryan O'Shea. So some familiar names also on the bench for Drogheda, and some not so familiar names. So we'll no doubt see plenty of changes in the second half, and we'll do our best to keep up with them, but there is no fourth official, I was told, so we will probably see a raft of substitutions at the break. And and that was a solo one there for Ryan O'Shea in the midriff, as the commentary jargon goes. But
don't have to tell you where that hit.
You might have heard me wince myself when that ball made contact, and he's just down trying to catch his breath, I think. Ryan O'Kane, that looked like a sore one. You're not getting much sympathy from James Brown, but
rightly so.
Patiently waiting to take the throw in, and I'm sure Ryan O'Kane will be all right in a few minutes.
There's nothing a man can do for a man in that trouble, sure, isn't it?
No, I've experienced that once or twice myself, and it's not particularly pleasant. Not one you can run off, but he'll be okay in a few minutes, I'm sure. And he's had a really impressive first half, Ryan O'Kane. Just 17, as he said, such a promising young player. Very slight in stature, but so nippy and elusive. James Brown has it, and he gets it.
Oh, he's waiting for it.
Swipes at it a little bit, and it's come back towards Junior. And he plays it outside to Chris Shields, bombing forward in the right wing position. Not a place we see Chris Shields pop up in too often, but he's conceded the free kick
yellow
there.
Card for that, I'd say.
And it could be the first booking of the afternoon for the skipper. It is indeed.
Frustration, isn't it? You can see it. With that back three, you can see what he's trying to do. Chris Shields is trying to drop in. Last 5-6 years, you know, he'll adapt easily. He's a better defender, I think, than he is attacker. So left side of a back three will suit him. I think I'm not calling him an old man or anything, but Conor Kane will do that walk up and down, which suits him as well. I think it'll be a great balance once Dane gets fit. I think it'll suit him. I think he has the legs to cover him behind as well, and you need good wing backs that are going to help you out as a three at the back as well. And I think you'd like to think it'd be Brown and maybe Kane on them flanks. I think it'll give them huge energy both ways. So you'll have Deegan then in the middle, who'll probably just sit as well. Gary Deegan will be probably 33 now, 34, so he'll sit and mind shop. So I'd imagine that's the way they'll go.
Chris Shields has a swipe at it, and it's well, it was deflected towards the goal by David McMillan, but that all started from 𝗠𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 getting forward down the right hand side, and he's been an intermittent attacking threat for Dundalk. He's a tall, leggy figure as well, so he covers the ground pretty quickly. Throw in is going to be taken by the Latvian over on the far side of the field as we head into the last 10 minutes of this first half. 1-1 in this Malone Cup derby between Drogheda United and Dundalk, and a very entertaining game it has been so far. Here comes Junior down that right hand side. He's got Conor Kane in front of him. The ball's gone beyond everybody, and over on the far side is Doken on his own, and he finishes it. A great finish, but where again was the marking? A beautiful finish by Doken. Great control, composed finish into the roof of the net. No chance for 𝗠𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛. 2-1 to Dundalk with 36 minutes gone.
Junior has really came into the game the last 20 minutes for Dundalk. I think he's been the difference there. Again, we just talked about them not building from the right there 5 minutes ago. I think it's the first time they have in the game, and James Brown's caught in the back post. He's narrowed up a bit, hasn't he, too much? But a great finish.
Lovely finish and lovely control as well, because he didn't really have a whole lot of time to get
he had a bit to do
finish
as well. Keeper on the line, and then did a bit covering defender on the line also, and he's nearly stuck it up high that nobody can get anything on it. Be disappointed before the break now. What are we on the clock?
37 minutes.
37 minutes.
So, having led 1-0 through Chris Lyons' goal in 20 minutes, Drogheda now find themselves 2-1 down. And it was a beautiful finish by Doken there. And Dundalk, as Paul said, Junior's gotten into it a bit down that right-hand channel and through the middle at times. And here he is again, he's away. But Daniel O'Reilly, I thought he might have driven through the centre there, but he just held it up a little bit, and that looked like a bit of a push in the back. He was maybe losing his footing anyway, but the referee says no. I've seen them give him, Paul. He looks like
he's nearly tackled him from behind awkwardly, hasn't he? And it was right on the edge of the box. He's gone down.
And it looks like
Drogheda players are saying, roaring, if it's not a dive, book him, or if it's not a foul, book him, but it's a dangerous tackle to make at the edge of the box.
It was one of those where he looked like he may have just been losing his footing a little bit at the same time as the tackle came in, but the referee was happy enough to let it go.
And you wonder as a referee, if you haven't given the penalty already, is it one you think more about?
Danny O'Reilly was having a word with the ref, but again, the referee decided not to get a card out. So just one booking so far. That came for Chris Shields for a foul, what you might call a professional foul in some respects, over on the far side of the field, just trying to break up a potential Drogheda break, and not a professional foul, of course, in the true sense of the one-on-one situation, but it was definitely a tactical decision. Then there's a good ball over the top again towards Junior, and he has Conor Kane closing him down, laid back, it's crossed in, but it's defended well at the near post. It's come back again to Chris Shields. 𝗠𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 is over there again, and over towards Darragh Leahy getting forward. He hasn't had too many opportunities to push forward in this first half. He's done a lot of defending with Birmingham, as we mentioned earlier, and David McMillan just couldn't dig it out of his feet. It was taken off him, and here come Drogheda again.
Yeah, they'd be disappointed he couldn't get Leahy going more the other way. You know, he's done more defending than he was attacking, but I think that's down to Brown and Birmingham. They've given Dundalk right trouble on this right hand side.
Ball across towards Danny O'Reilly, a man who played in both legs of the 2019 playoff for Shelbourne against Drogheda. It's a heavy challenge there from Doken, but the referee says play on, and Luke Keating, to his credit, stayed on his feet, didn't knock a feather out of him. Here's Chris Lyons outside of the boot ball, a little bit ambitious there maybe, and here comes Junior now, and Lyons is, well, that's going to be a booking anyway, I can tell you that for nothing. Another tactical foul, and we're going to see Chris Lyons going into the book.
Centre forward's foul, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Give the ball away, and just a bit of frustration, I suppose. But
bit of panic perhaps as well.
Yeah.
So a booking for Chris Lyons. with 40 minutes on the clock. 5 to go to the break. 2-1 to Dundalk. And Chris Shields is going to take this free kick, knocks it back just into his own half to Daniel Cleary. And Andy Boyle may go back to the keeper here. No, plays it across to Darragh Leahy. Again, the sunshine, bathing pitch here in Drogheda. A lovely day for football, perfect conditions, not a puff of breeze and a nice bit of sun as well. And things looking a bit brighter now for Dundalk than they were a little bit earlier. They've gotten the foothold in this game. It took them a while, but certainly had a better last 10 minutes, Paul, than they had at the start. They're looking a bit more coherent and a bit more promising than they were early in the game. Yeah,
they've come into it, haven't they? As I said, the last 10 minutes, they're getting down this right-hand side a little bit, so it's not as predictable as the first half. They were trying to get out through Leahy the whole time on the left-hand side, but now they seem to be working both flanks, giving Drogheda a little bit more trouble and giving Kane a bit more to do on the other side of the pitch, where he was getting a bit more joy going forward when Dundalk weren't attacking down that side. Now he's had a bit more defending to do. So.
And Daniel O'Reilly in his hustle with Chris Lyons and Daniel Cleary rather, and the defender gets the better of the Drogheda striker. And here's Leahy again, plays it back towards Andy Boyle, and that miss from Boyle earlier, well, it doesn't look quite as important now as it did at the time, but it certainly would have been disappointing not to finish that chance early in the game. But
yeah, you'll hate it as a centre half, like, you know, you're tussling usually to get goals with centre halves. You won't get an easier chance. He'll be disappointed.
Nice little bit of play there from Sam Stanton. The first touch took him around a couple of Drogheda players, and
and he's came into it, hasn't he, Stanton, as well as the half's gone on. So them few players we've talked about, you know, were very quiet for 20-25 minutes. I think because Drogheda started so strong, to be honest.
And for, like, you know, for the likes of Stanton there, 26, ex-Dundee United, like, he obviously has a serious pedigree as well, so you would expect players like that, as not give it away cheaply there, to make an impression. We'll just stay with the play for the moment, because Drogheda are pushing forward again. James Brown knocks the ball down the line towards Brandon Birmingham. Leahy, a little bit of a nudge in the back, if you could call it that, just easing him out of it a little bit, but Birmingham still has possession, and Leahy is definitely gotten a lot tighter on Birmingham in the last 10 minutes or so, Leahy, hasn't he? Yeah,
he'd be disappointed with the goal, won't he? That naturally will up that side of your game a little bit, but defensively, yeah, being pinned back is more than he'd want, I'd imagine.
It's going to be a goal kick to Dundalk. 43 minutes on the clock here, and I wouldn't imagine there'll be a huge amount of added time. The only real stoppage we had was that instant where Ryan O'Kane got hit with the ball, and took a few moments to gather his thoughts after that, but other than that, it's been a fairly free-flowing game. And as I said, we will see, no doubt, a raft of changes from both sides in the second half. For the moment, both sides with their original 11s. Here's Stanton, nice little bit of play again. He's just stitching things together nicely, Stanton in midfield.
Yeah, no, he's been really good as the game's gone on. He's got into a lot more. He's available more for there, as we talk about Chris Shields when he's deep, as he is on the ball now. That can he have options from midfielders? And Stanton has came into it and been more available from as the game's gone on. Here we go now again, just picking them up midfield areas. And that's okay to bounce it back if it's tight, like to keep in possession.
Daniel Cleary with a very bright pair of boots on him. You would pick him out in the dark. And here's Leahy with an equally bright pair of yellow ones. Here's Stanton with a pair of orange boots, not dissimilar to the colour of the shirt he would have worn at Tannadice 3 seasons ago. And here's Leahy again, plays it back inside towards Chris Shields again. Shields coming deep to get possession, just trying to get things moving for his side, the skipper.
The management team will be happy from Dundalk, won't they, with this sort of thing. Like, I always like to think, when you're keeping the ball as well, you're working the opposition, you know, you're tiring the opposition out a little bit. It's something they haven't done there. Commentator's curse.
Abibi's clearance, well, he was trying to play it out over to his man here, but he overhit that one by quite a way, Paul. We were at more at risk of that one than the players on the pitch.
I got a touch of the ball there. Yeah, it's just as we talked about, but you're working the opposition when you keep the ball like that, you know. They've given it away too easy, Dundalk, in the first half. I think Drogheda worked Dundalk more in the first 20 minutes. I think the game is turned a little bit now, Dundalk coming into it a little bit stronger.
Here's Ronan Murray, and he gets forward James Clark. He is a goal, and it was a good opportunity for Clark. Just got it onto his right foot, just got under it a little bit though, and as we said, a man who got one of the goals of the season last year. Just 10 seconds of time over the 45 here. The referee brings the first half to a close. So a really entertaining first half of football, it has to be said. Drogheda taking the lead on 20 minutes through Chris Lyons after a great cross in from Brandon Birmingham, and Lyons got across his man, headed it into the far top corner, but penalty was conceded then by Luke Heaney just 5 minutes later when he brought down the very impressive Ryan O'Kane. David McMillan stepped up and made it 1-1, and then 11 minutes later Val Adedokan with a lovely touch and finish. A little bit of a slack defending at the back post from Drogheda's point of view, but a lovely first touch and finish into the roof of the net to make it 2-1 to Dundalk, and that's how it stands at half time. Paul, what have you made of that first half?
Yeah, I think Drogheda started it better for the first 20 minutes. They kept the ball well, they worked the ball from left to right really well, where they got the goal from. Conor Kane had a lot more joy in the first 20 minutes than he did in the last. Dundalk then coming into it, I think played through the phase a little bit more. We talked about when Chris Shields got on it deeper as the game went on, that I feel Stanton came into the game more and was more available from. Junior came in as Ryan O'Kane has been excellent here on the left hand side. Very exciting prospect, great to see him here live. Delivery for the goal for Boyle, excellent. Caused them problem, gets the penalty. He's going to be a real handful, isn't he, for full backs?
So that's how it stands at half time, 2-1 to Dundalk. And just before we wrap up for a little half time break, Paul, how, in terms of, let's say, percentages, how much of an idea will Tim Clancy and Filippo Givagnoli have in terms of what their starting lineup will be for the first game of the season? Because, you know, we have the President's Cup next week for Dundalk against Rovers, and that's not a game that they will want to, certainly not, they won't want to lose it, but they certainly won't want to lose it badly, and they want to be very competitive and go in and try and win that game. Drogheda for them, it's Waterford in a couple of weeks' time in the opening game of the season. So how much of an idea at this stage do you think the managers will have of what their starting 11s will be when they go into that first league game? I
think it's much easier for Tim and Kevin. I think if you ask Tim now, he could tell you starting 11 come the start of the season if everybody's fit. Felipe, it's experimental for me at this stage because she's 3/4 of the squad's only in the door. So I look here to the left of us here, and there's 7 or 8 lads that are walking over to the dressing room here in jackets, so they're not even in the squad. Like, so as regards where both teams are at, I think, listen, there's a gulf of probably experience and quality coming into that Dundalk dressing room, but that has to take time. Like, as regards Tim, as a group, I think they're going to be more ready. I think, as I said, he'll know it's starting 11 with everybody fit. So chalk and cheese really, but it's a big game next week. It's because it is Dundalk Shamrock Rovers. It's a big game, isn't it? Like, it's one that neither team will want to lose. But you'll see again, I'd say Shamrock Rovers at full strength. I don't think you'll see a Dundalk team at full strength. I think they'll be looking at the start of the season, and that will be the bread and butter. But I think Shamrock Rovers are in serious position going forward, aren't they? They've taken Sean Hoare, they've taken Gannon. I mean, they've added Danny Mandrew. There's talk of Richie Towell, isn't there? And again, something similar to Drogheda at a different end of things. Like, they're just ticking along and they're adding to something that's really, really strong. Like,
they've lost Jack Byrne, of course, but you don't think that that's going to be a too fatal blow for them?
No, well, yeah, it's always going to be. Listen, again, he's if you like, he's a seasoned League of Ireland player. You lose, he's won the PFAI, isn't he, 2 years in a row? Like, so of course you're going to miss that. But when you have the finances and you have the stature of being Shamrock Rovers, you can take the best players from your rivals, like Danny Mandrew, who apparently has been excellent by all accounts in pre-season. So, you know, geez, I'd like to say you're replacing similar. You would be in both them players, and then if they can add the likes of Richie Towell to what they have, as we said. And they're the only marquee signs we've heard of. I'm sure there's a few more around the edges as well that they brought in we haven't talked about.
That's it. So it's half time here at Head in the Game Park. Drogheda took the lead, as we said, on 20 minutes through Chris Lyons. David McMillan equalised from the penalty spot for Dundalk on 25, and then Val Adedokan with a lovely touch and finish on 36 minutes to make it 2-1 to Dundalk at the break. We'll take a little short break ourselves, get ourselves a cup of tea, and we'll be back with you for the second half in around about 10 minutes time or so. Do join us then.
I always say I'll go anywhere provided it's forward, and this time we have to go on from here. They had a dream, and that dream has come true tonight.
no doubt see plenty of changes. I can already see Killian Phillips is out there. We're going to see lots of changes. There's no board, there's no fourth official, so we'll do our best to keep you up to speed with the changes that are out there. But as we said, a lot of substitutes and players looking to get runs, and just having a look around. I don't think there's been too many changes for Drogheda that I can see. Certainly, as I said, Killian Phillips is on, and
Jake Hyland off, is it?
looks like it is. It looks like it is Jake Hyland. Connor Kane is wearing the captain's armband. Good spot there, Paul. Knew we had you here for something. So it's Jake Hyland that has made way, and we'll just have a look around to see on the Dundalk side. Can't see again too many changes for Dundalk. Pat Hooban is on, actually, I think. You can see him in the centre circle. So Pat Hooban is on.
McElhaney, is that McElhaney on the left?
And, Pat McElhaney is on as well. So we'll just have a look and see who has gone off.
Just what we talked about earlier on about, starting 11s and stuff. There's a calibre of player to bring on off the bench, like McElhaney, who for Shields will be different world in being in that area, that 8 or 10 position to take the ball off him, and Pat Hooban up front speaks for itself. And
it looks like, Dave McMillan obviously has departed for Pat Hooban. I'm just trying to see who has made way. I think it may be not sure who is departed for.
Young Ryan O'Kane is gone, isn't he?
Ryan O'Kane, in fact, it is. Yeah, it looks like he is gone. But he'll be very happy with his contribution. Certainly no reflection on his performance when he was taken off at half time. Paul, he was very impressed with him in the first half.
He was unbelievable. He's probably just protecting him. He's just dipping him in and out at this stage. It's still all learning for him,
So we're underway in the second half. And it's Drogheda United on the attack straight away, and the shot comes in, and it's a good hit from Ronan Murray. With just about 10 seconds gone in this second half, and a positive start to the second half for Drogheda United. And Dane Massey and Pat Hooban exchanging pleasantries here. Two men who know each other very well, of course, and Hooban comes short for the ball. That's a beautiful pass from Daniel Cleary. His distribution, long range distribution, has been really impressive, Cleary, in this game, as it generally is, in fairness to him.
He's been outstanding for them, hasn't he? Even watching the European games last year, not fazed by anything. Comfortable on the ball, comfortable in the air, physical. Great switch of play, can really hit diagonal balls across the pitch as well.
He's a huge physical presence, Cleary. And obviously keeps himself in great condition. And the ball played across the field. It's gone all the way through. We talked about in the first half the attacking play of Connor Kane and James Brown and the fitness levels. From when you played in the league, Paul, have you noticed, from looking in from afar, do you think the fitness levels have gone up significantly over the years?
Yeah, massively, it's probably towards the end when I was finishing, I suppose, it really started coming into the game. The physicality and how much they look after themselves now, and nutrition and rest and water and all, that was always talked about, but it's really enforced now. Look at the condition of this, walking out there by them Dundalk players on the pitch and all. It's self-driven now. I've talked to Stephen O'Donnell before when we're on the A licence and all. The dressing room drives itself up there. He used to tell me, he was a big driver in that now, and you can see Chris Shields is that man there now. But there's so many characters around the dressing room like that now that managers don't have to do the bark and the gym work and the conditioning work and all. They push each other in all them aspects, and you can see the rewards they've got over the last few years, like how dominant they've been in the last, since Stephen Kenny's reign, I suppose, all the way through to Vinnie Perth, and collected a outstanding amount of trophies and all. But it's true hard work. Yeah.
And it's going to be a corner to Dundalk. It's their first corner of the game, I think, and it's going to be taken by new signing Sam Stanton, who certainly had more of an influence in that first half as the game went on. He really got into it, and it's come across. It was a low one. It's dropped back towards Hooban. He's knocked it across towards Stanton. Up in the air again, gets Hooban, and it's half cleared there by the man who came on at half time, Killian Phillips.
It's a poor delivery, isn't it? Dundalk will be disappointed with the aerial power they have over Drogheda. They'll be wanting good deliveries into the box. Straight away, Kane gone off, and first corner of the game, and it's a bad delivery, under hit.
And it's going to be it's going to go out over on the far side of the field. It's kept in. Ronan Murray has it now. Spins away from Stanton, lays it back. And it's rolled across here towards Dane Massey. Left side centre back today, Massey, against his former team, of course, with whom he had so many great years. Knocked in field, a lovely ball in towards Chris Lyons, all on his own. He looked like he was going to have a swing at it for a second there, Lyons, but he's played it back, he's played it behind James Brown. That's gone out for a throw in. A promising position for Drogheda United comes to nothing. And going to be Dundalk again coming out from the back of it. Got away with it there and they're coming out with it again. It's Leahy in possession, knocks it down the line. It's intercepted by Luke Heaney. And here he comes again, and it's a foul by Leahy on Birmingham, I think. Again, Birmingham causing problems for his direct opponent. It's certainly been a very testing afternoon so far for Darragh Leahy. He did definitely get back into it and tighten up a little bit in the second half of the first half, but he had difficulties from Birmingham, who's caused plenty of problems this afternoon. It's going to be a free kick, and Ronan Murray will take it. Right-footed, plenty of Drogheda bodies in the box, and it's knocked in, and it's over towards
Massey, was it?
Well, it was Massey himself getting up for the header, but he wasn't able to direct it onto the goals. Just looking at the opening fixtures of the season, Drogheda's first game comes against Waterford United. That's at now a new time of 6:15 on the 19th of March. Dundalk's opening game is away to Sligo Rovers, a game or a ground where they've had their troubles in recent seasons. That's on the Saturday, the 20th of March at 6 o'clock, and then it's at home for Dundalk in their second game against Finn Harps, while Drogheda are in Richmond Park against St. Pat's, and then the third game for Drogheda is Finn Harps at home, while Dundalk are away to Shamrock Rovers. So difficult enough beginnings for both sides, but they're looking to make good starts. Now here comes a chance for Dundalk. Goes a begging there. It was Yurkovskis who was pushing forward, and his ball crossed towards Pat Hooban. It was just a little bit overhit, and the big striker couldn't get onto it.
It's great play, isn't it? From Cleary into Shields into Stanton. Little ball around the corner. Just disappointing. Hooban there just screaming for it to be squared. Just overhit.
And James Clark draws the foul there from Daniel Cleary. I think Cleary took the bait on that one. Clark looked like he was just waiting for the challenge to be made, and it's a free kick in a decent place for Drogheda, just about, what are we, 10 yards outside the penalty box, so 30 yards give or take. Now it's going to be a hell of an effort from here if they were to take on the shot. This is the sort of area where Derek Prendergast had a crack or two last season. Man no longer with the club, but a vital cog in that promotion machine last year. But it's Dane Massey with the left foot and Ronan Murray over it. It looks like Massey's going to have a crack here. BB is crouched on his line, waiting. No, it's going to be Murray, in fact, and he has a goal, and it's in the top corner. What a goal from Ronan Murray. Absolutely fantastic. No chance for a BB, and it was almost a Ronaldo-esque run up there, straight behind the ball, but he tipped it into the top corner.
Excellent. The keeper's he's left the whole side to go to open, has he? You're looking at it and you're thinking the wall is the only thing that's going to save him, but don't take away the quality from the free kick. Up and over at pace too. Top corner.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Brilliant for Murray, the new signing, former Dundalk man, of course. Had a mixed enough season with them. Didn't quite establish himself as a regular in the first team, but certainly made a valuable contribution while he was there. But really biting back today. That's a brilliant free kick, and it's 2-2 here. And what a game we've had. It's been really entertaining stuff here on LMFM this afternoon. And another free kick for Drogheda in a promising position. So 52 minutes gone when that ball hit the net from Murray. 2-2.
I don't know why there's anyone standing around this free kick after what we just seen there. Dane Massey's picking it up again.
Dane Massey looks keen to have a crack here.
I don't think he's going to be let near it, is he?
Will we have two former Dundalk men scoring against their old teammates? Murray.
Can't see anyone else taking this, only Murray, can you?
BB will certainly be on his guard after that one went in. 6'6" or so, the keeper, but he couldn't get across. And another chance for Drogheda here. 7.5 minutes gone.
It's that whole side of the goal again. It's so open.
Keeper leaving it open. This time he slipped it down the line to Chris Lyons. He cuts it back, and it's over the bar. It's over the bar from Daniel O'Reilly. Just couldn't keep it down, but a great opportunity there for Drogheda. Didn't take the shot on this time.
It's a clever free kick though, isn't it? Just after scoring one like that, everyone's just sitting back. The wall turns its back. Everyone thinks you're going to hit it. Just slips down the side of the ball. Squared lovely, but Chance not taken. Big chance.
So here come Dundalk, Pat McElhenney. And it's Drogheda winning it back again, and here's Chris Lyons.
Why is he taking it?
He got a bit of help. He's going to have to go with his left foot here. It's blocked by Daniel Cleary. Comes back to Lyons again. This time it's on his right again. It's blocked. It's Sandy Boyle this time. And again it's Chris Lyons on the edge of the box. Another chance to shoot. This time he plays it to Murray. And his attempt to pass towards Conor Kane is intercepted by 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛. And well, it's gone all the way up to the other end of the field, and James Brown has it. Under pressure from Pat Hubin. Plays it down the line towards Brandon Birmingham. Ādādokan adjudged to have fouled him. And I think Birmingham just did well, shielded the ball with his body and drew the foul there.
As the first half started, Drogheda getting on top, started the better team. Drogheda, some amount of fouls, which the goal came from, but great start from Drogheda second half. Dundalk struggling to get into the game.
Just worth noting, as we mentioned, the height of 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛, the keeper. A couple of the new signings for Dundalk not involved today, Sonny Nadestad and Ole Erik Midtskogen, both of whom are sitting down in front of us here in the stand, not involved today. But two huge men, and they'll be serious additions to the side. And I'll tell you that Chino Perez is on the bench, a man who officially signed this week. Having been on trial last year, and of course received plenty of headlines for a particular dating app that he was spotted on while he was in the Dundalk area, so he's on the bench today as well. But so far, substitutes used sparingly. Just two changes at half time for Dundalk and one for Drogheda, so managers keeping their deck fairly well the same as it was in the first period, as they try to establish their starting 11s for those opening games. And of course, as I said, Dundalk in action in the President's Cup next weekend against Shamrock Rovers. As we said, great to be here and covering this game live for you on LMFM, and a real privilege to be here. We're aware people are only too keen to get back into the ground, and hopefully that will happen soon. But in the meantime, it's great to be here covering these matches, and we do hope you're enjoying our coverage this afternoon. 2-2 in what is a very entertaining Malone Cup game. Just to quickly recap on the scoring, Chris Lyons put Drogheda ahead on 20 minutes. David McMillan equalised from the penalty spot on 25. Brad Ādādokan gave Dundalk the lead on 36 minutes, and then Ronan Murray with a superb free kick on 52 minutes, making it 2-2. So goals aplenty here, and entertainment aplenty as well. Darragh Leahy gets it, knocks it down the line. It's a good ball. McElhenney over on that far side of the field. He's got Luke Heaney for company. Heaney, who gave away that penalty in the first half for the now departed Ryan O'Kane after a foul on the youngster. Just caught a little bit flat-footed on that occasion, Heaney, and conceding the penalty. But O'Kane withdrawn at half time, but he was really impressive in that first half, and he's the player we'll see a lot more of, you can be sure, this season.
You can hear Massey, and we have Massey on this side now beside it. You can hear the information, the good information he's given into midfielders now. And it's so important when to shift, when to press. Everything's coming through him, something we wouldn't have been able to hear on the far side, and that's something he's going to add as well, obviously with his experience, and played so many European games as well. And anything Tim will be preaching tactically, he'll be able to breathe that out and send that information in. You can hear him here now.
Man who scored the winner last week against Bohemians, as we mentioned. And here's James Clark meandering forward. It's well intercepted. They're well tackled there by Chris Shields. And here comes Sam Stanton. Good ball in to McElhenney. And Doc will be really hoping to keep him fit this season. He's had his share of injury problems the last few seasons, Pat McElhenney, but he's a vital player for Dundalk to keep fit.
Technically, he's probably up there with the best players in the league, but fitness has been, you can see him there now, still looks, he's only coming on, he's getting a few games, but when the ball's at his feet, there's not much better in the league. But it's again, getting 90 minutes out of these players, getting them to play consistently, like that's important. He's been very stop-start from the last couple of seasons, and you only get, it's patchy then from you personally, like when you just, fitness levels aren't there.
It's good play from Rabis 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 there, and it's McElhenney who flicks it through, takes a nick off one of the Drogheda defenders. I think it was Killian Phillips. And in fact, it's gone out for a goal kick. I must have misidentified who that hit, because it's a goal kick and not a corner. Now we're going to see a few more changes. Jordan Adeyemo is going to come on, and Jack Shoot as well, I can see. Brandon Birmingham makes way with 13 minutes gone in the second half.
It's that hour mark, isn't it, for some players, just to kind of... The work is in the legs now after an hour for some players. Some players might have played more games than previous weeks. You can see Dundalk now starting to make a few changes now as well.
So James Clark makes way as well. So it's Jack Hughes and Jordan Adeyemo coming on, and another man coming on as well. I think it may be Ryan O'Shea. It is indeed. So Ryan O'Shea comes on, and I think it's Dane Massey who has made way as well. So plenty of changes being made here. And Abibi is gone as well. And Peter Cherry is on. So plenty of changes here. And Abibi looking a little bit ginger walking down the touchline, but quarter of an hour gone in the second half. 2-2 at United Park, or at Head in the Game Park.
They've given away so many cheap fouls in the second half. There's another Dundalk I'm talking about. Just another one again. Like, you know, Boyle, silly, stand up, too eager to try and win the ball.
And it's going to be a free kick. Ronan Murray again over it. And he may have already topped anything he could do in the season with that free kick, but certainly a glimpse of what's to come from him. Beautiful free kick that equalised for Drogheda a short time ago, and it's cleared there by Hoban, back doing some defending, and it's come back towards Conor Kane. He's taken on the captain's armband from Jake Hyland, and that ball back from Daniel Riley, a little bit heavy, but no problem for Conor Kane to tidy it up, and it's back. And Drogheda have made a substitution as well, of course. Colin McCabe coming on, replacing David Olamosu. So lots of changes as Tim Clancy tries to give players a run. And head down, starting 11 ahead of the new season. Conor Kane doing some good defending there. Yarkovskis closed down well. Looked like a foul throw there. Referee, you don't see too many of them given these days, Paul.
We noticed that a couple of times in the first half as well. Like, I think it's gone, is it? I think that rule's out the door.
It seems to be. I think you have to bounce the ball into the ground in front of you for it to be given at this stage. Greg Sloggett's on as well, incidentally, for Dundalk. Both sides ring the change. That's that hour mark that Paul talked about. Get a bit of game time into the legs and then rest up.
See Cleary again on that right side on his foot, like driving balls. Pat Hoban's dropping off the centre half straight into little areas, you know.
Flicked on Hoban there. He had a lot of attention to deal with there from Jack Shoup, but he did well, and the offside flag goes up.
Yeah, when he drops it,
the shout comes from, I think it was Daniel Cleary, about the linesman not putting his flag up in the first half. So clearly the players have memories of what happened in the first period when the flag didn't go up and they maybe felt it should have. But ball harmlessly through to Peter Cherry, and you wouldn't rule Cherry out of nailing down the first team goalkeeping spot on the evidence of what we saw today, Paul.
No, you've a seasoned goalkeeper there, like, and I mean there's going to be competition for a place there. There's he'll definitely not be coming to the club looking to sit around and play second fiddle. It's
a great ball in behind. Yarkovskis has gotten in down the line, the ball across the box, and it's well. James Brown, it was a lovely ball from Junior in behind. That was Conor Kane, and Yarkovskis getting in down the line. We haven't seen a huge amount of him as an attacking force, but when he has gotten forward, Yarkovskis, he has caused problems, and as we said, he's got that long rangy stride, so he mightn't look like he's the quickest in the world, but he certainly will cover the ground quickly, so he wouldn't have the all-action style, let's say, of a Kane going forward, but he certainly gets forward to good effect. It's a good ball in, it's well taken by Colin McCabe. But what have you made of Yarkovskis' contribution in this game?
It's the first time they've got him in behind, really, isn't it? And his delivery's perfect. I think 2 or 3 players in the box. Hoban just doesn't get there, really. He can't do any more with the ball. He's squared it across the 6-yard box. It's a tap in for centre forward if he makes a run. But I think I'd like to see them get behind Drogheda a little bit more. I think everything's a bit in front from Dundalk today. When Hoban drops into them good areas, I think they need to get runners beyond them, but they haven't seemed to.
And here come Drogheda again in the shape of Ronan Murray. Plays that one a little bit behind James Brown, but Brown takes it in. No problem, back to Heaney. And all the way back to Jack Hughes, the man who came on a short time ago. Daniel O'Reilly. There's a look and knocks the ball up towards Chris Lyons, a little bit too much on it for Lyons. And O'Reilly acknowledges that he was a little bit strong with that pass. And here comes Andy Boyle.
It's worked for Drogheda in the second half, if you notice. They've kind of just sat off. They pressed Dundalk more at the back in the first half, but they've sat off and just stopped Dundalk, I suppose, playing through the middle of the park. Here we go again. They've pressed loads of balls in there, and I think that's where they've won their free kicks high up the pitch as well. When they press in the middle, they kind of run it down Dundalk's throat straight away.
Kovskis again, good play there from Daniel O'Reilly. He's been a solid presence tonight. Again, not too dissimilar in stature to Daniel Cleary. Maybe not quite as physical, but he's a big, strong physical presence that they needed back there. And when we were looking at the season's end last year, and we knew Derek Prendergast was probably going to go, signing a strong first choice defender, centre back was key, and he looks like he'll fit right in there.
Yeah, he's been good today, hasn't he? He can look after himself as well, and then talking as well, talking in front. It's important, especially if they are going to go back to maybe a 3, that there's information around the place and they're pulling wing backs around. But he's very comfortable today. He's good on the ball. He's won his one-on-ones. He's won his individual battles. He's been good. Very good.
Another change for Dundalk, and it's Adedokan who's gone off, and I think it's Chino Perez who's come on. He'll be looking to have a swipe at a few opportunities if he gets the chance. And here's Dundalk attacking down the right hand side. It's gone out for throw in to Drogheda United. We have 20 minutes gone in the second half, 65 minutes on the clock, and it's 2-2 here in this Malone Cup match here on LMFM this Saturday afternoon in March. Here's Greg Sloggett, and Patrick McElhenney has it. Looks to dink one in behind, and it's just a little bit too heavy, but wasn't a million miles away there from McElhenney. It's the sort of quality he brings anytime he gets on the ball. And Colin McCabe slings one over here towards Conor Kane. It was a tricky enough one for Kane to take in. It wasn't really an ideal ball, but he lost it momentarily, but it's come back towards Ronan Murray. Conor Kane again, back to Daniel O'Reilly.
Big switch. Good.
Again, trying to match Daniel Cleary's passing as well. That's a great ball across.
He did too, yeah.
Towards James Brown. He's getting into the box. He's got Perez there. Is that a penalty? No, he got the ball. Perez, in fairness to him, I think that was the right decision from the referee. It looked like for a moment that it might be a risky tackle, but he did win the ball. And here's Patrick McElhenney as Dundalk look to hit Drogheda on the break. And Conor Kane commits himself, doesn't win it. And then Luke Heaney comes across, and he's committed a few fouls today. Heaney hasn't yet been booked, but if there was a tallying process, he might find himself getting a yellow card here. I know the referee seems happy enough to let it go. And
𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 again, brilliant ball driven up to him, just picking people out and knocking headers back. McElhenney again showing that creativity when he's left with time and space. But 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 is screaming at him. He's made a great run in behind and he hasn't seen him. And then he checks and he makes another run. Still, McElhenney doesn't pick him out. But they've come into it now in the last 10 minutes. And
McElhenney with the free kick here. Drogheda have everybody back inside the box with the exception of Chris Lyons. And it's whipped in.
It's good.
𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 is up there, and it's in the net. It's Greg Sloggett, I think, who's got it.
Yeah. It's a great delivery, isn't it?
A great ball in from
McElhenney. Great ball in.
And with 22 minutes gone in the second half, Greg Sloggett makes it 3-2 to Dundalk. With that header, it just...
He's just teased it in, hasn't he? It's just someone go and attack it. Like it was a great header because it needed to be down and low. It was the only place he probably would have scored with it. But it was a great delivery.
So 3-2 to Dundalk. The goals keep on coming in this game. You certainly can't quibble about the entertainment value this afternoon. Chino Perez gets that one, lays it off the Sloggett. Chris Shields plays it across. Daniel Cleary again, nice ball into Kovskis. The Latvian international plays the ball inside to Pat McElhenney. Lovely touch from McElhenney, just angled it on very slightly towards Chris Shields. Chino Perez, so Dundalk motoring well now, and Perez inside the box, gets the cross in, and it's come back, and this Dara Lee has a go. It didn't connect with it at all, but Dundalk just look like they've upped it a little bit there in the last 5 minutes, Paul. That was a nice bit of play again there. And
McElhenney and 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 warming up, I think, is what we see. Like here on the pitch, they're only on there since half time, but you can see the quality. Like that's what we're talking about. You don't judge on days like this, like, you know, when teams aren't at full strength and we're not in the middle of a season. But you can see the quality now with these two boys, and you can see Chris Shields now able to stay behind the ball constantly, and he's just trying to get McElhenney on it the whole time now. And you can see they're really playing through the middle now.
It's a hell of a thump from Colin McCabe down the field. And it's been headed back and it's gone out for a throw in. James Brown just battling for possession there with 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 wearing number 90, which I think is undoubtedly going to be the highest number in the league this season, I would imagine. I haven't seen everybody's squad number, but I can't imagine there'll be anybody higher than that or even close to it. And it's the number he wore in college, I believe. He would have liked number 10, but that's obviously taken by the man in possession now, Greg Sloggett. So he should have gone for 91 and put a little plus in between the two numbers like Ivan Zamorano used to do many years ago. Now here's Daniel Cleary. Plays it across again. His distribution this afternoon, Cleary, has just been absolutely wonderful to watch. Another lovely ball across towards Dara Leahy. He's been dispossessed though by Jordan Adeyemo, the man who missed the tail end of last season after having his appendix removed. Adeyemo will happily back fully fit. And perform a little bit of an operation over on that far side of the pitch.
I'm surprised it's something Tim didn't kind of try and nail at half time, maybe for Cleary to be the one to pin, like, you know, get someone on him when they're trying to get out through the back, because as you said, his distribution and his diagonal balls across the pitch are killing Drogheda at the minute, so he'd be the one that you'd say when they're trying to get out, make sure he's pinned.
Here's Chris Lyons. James Brown bombing forward down that right hand side, a heavy challenge from Leahy. He's certainly upped his game a lot. He struggled, as we said, against Brandon Birmingham in the first half, but he's definitely performed a lot better since that early part of the first half, and he's become a lot more physical in his defending as well. And here's Perez, lovely ball to Junior, just gets away from him though. And it's Conor Kane who tidies it up. Daniel O'Reilly and now Killian Phillips. It's knocked long through the middle of the game. We're trying to get in behind. Andy Boyle did well to stretch his neck muscles and head that one away, and again Daniel Cleary tidying things up. It's just such a composed presence on the ball. Knocks one infield, beautiful ball again to McElhenney, and he first times it back to Peter Cherry. Cherry rolls it out to Andy Boyle. McElhenney again coming deep for possession. Picking it up again. It's such a part of the evolution of the game over the years, Paul, as well. Like, you know, many years ago centre halves were just there to stop and give the ball to midfielders, but it's such an extra weapon to have in your armoury if you have somebody like that who can distribute the ball well from the back, and players need to press up on him to close him down, which of course creates further space up the pitch if you can get the pass out. It's
massive now, isn't it? You often hear, I suppose, commentators talking about it, like you have to be able to, as a centre half now, the priority now when you're signing one is you have to be able to get out from the back, where years ago,
even with goalkeepers now, they say you need to play with your feet.
The top teams won't have a goalkeeper now that can play. Like, you go back to the Steve Bruce and the Gary Pallister days, like, you know, you had to have 11 broken noses to be a centre half, I think, never mind playing out from the back. But yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Like, as you said, it changes the game throughout the pitch when centre halves get on the ball, or when you start back through goalkeepers. You can see McElhenney there again, dropping into areas of the pitch where he's unplayable. Do you go with him? Do you step away? And then when you just seeing the ball, he knocked back there first time with a volley back to the keeper. They're showboating there for a couple of minutes.
And it's a little bit of scrappy play, but it's come back towards Adeyemo, and it's in towards Mohamed Boudiaf, who's come on as well. And again, we did say there would be lots of changes, and with no fourth official, no board. I think the board would be out of batteries if they were running it at this point, but Boudiaf is on. Again, another promising young player who I know Adrian Taff was quite impressed with in the game against Wexford last week.
Surprised we haven't seen Dinny Corcoran. He's on the bench, isn't he?
Dinny Corcoran, no, he's not. He's not fit. He's not on the bench.
He was just maybe warming up there.
He's just not 100% fit, I was told before the game. Him and Gary Deegan.
He's out doing a little bit there earlier on, so he must be he's not far off. Seeing him out with the substitutes.
Yeah, and Dinny Corcoran and Gary Deegan as well. You know, we talk about it's just his Dundalk attack, but it's well intercepted, which actually, that sort of experience, the experience of Gary Deegan. And one thing again last year, watching Drogheda, the one thing you thought they maybe needed was somebody who was a bit of an enforcer in midfield, and that's certainly a box that Gary Deegan ticks. Yeah, he'll give them that. He'll give them that experience. He'll give the younger lads that feeling of there's someone there to mind them as well, you know, when they come up against it, like, you know. But listen, not played a pre-season game as well. The age he is, you know, it's hard to get your fitness as well at times, but a bit of a hairy moment there for Peter Cherry. I could hear a few Dundalk squad members taking a sharp intake of breath, and that ball was rolled across the box, but they got away with it. And up the other end, it's well claimed there by Colin McCabe. And that's another area where Drogheda are very strong, is goalkeeper, an experienced man, Colin McCabe, and David Odumoso, as we know, well established. And still only 19, David Elmo, so he doesn't turn 20 until later this month, 23rd of March in fact. So plenty of years left in him, and he's somebody that could go very far in the game. There was talk in the close season that he may depart for the UK, but Drogheda managed to sign him up for another season. But should he depart at any point in the future, they've certainly got an able deputy in the shape of Colin McCabe. And here's Conor Kane coming in field. 3-2 to Dundalk. If you've just joined us on Adam FM this afternoon, Greg Sloggett giving the Lily-Whites the lead. Once again, making it 3-2 on 67 minutes after Ronan Murray equalised. It was 2-1 Dundalk at the break. Fantastic free kick from Ronan Murray in 52 minutes, levelled it up, and then Sloggett's header making it 2-1 to Dundalk, or rather 3-2 to Dundalk. We have a half an hour gone in the second half, and Daniel O'Reilly taking possession from Killian Phillips, and it's played into Boudiaf. Lovely ball, Adeyemo. It was just offside, Adeyemo, and Conor Kane throws his arms up from frustration because it was one of those where he didn't need to be off. It was a beautiful pass from Boudiaf.
Just has to look across the line, doesn't he? Because he's so much space. It's just there. He didn't need to be offside. If he lifts his head, especially with the legs he has as well.
Chris Shields has it again, trying to orchestrate things in midfield. Greg Sloggett. They've certainly got plenty of options in midfield, Dundalk, when you look at the players that they started with and who they brought on. Here's Shields again. Dundalk just taking a little bit of the sting out of the game, keeping possession. Over to that far side again, to McElhenney. Scoops a little ball in behind to Pat Hoban, who's just offside. Just strayed a little bit too far ahead there. Linesman's flag goes up. Daniel Cleary just issuing some instructions to the players in front of him to move around a little bit. Just gesticulating a little bit to direct Greg Sloggett and Chris Shields. And the free kick will be taken by Colin McCabe. Just about 15 minutes to go. 3-2 to Dundalk in this Malone Cup game at Head in the Game Park. Long ball down the field, up goes Adeyemo, who's beaten to it, but the ball has gone out for a corner kick. Just skimmed off the head of Darragh, I think it was, and linesman points for corner. So no left foot from Jake Hyland to take this one, but we'll wait and see who. Nobody's making the way up. Well, Luke Heaney finally is trotting forward to take this corner. As Drogheda look to equalise for the second time. It'll be right-footed from Heaney. Everybody forward again. With the exception of Conor Kane. A good ball in as well. A great ball in right into the heart of the box, and it's gone out for another corner. Came off one of the Dundalk players.
Nobody really breaking out a bunch and attacking it. It's a fantastic delivery, isn't it? The weight is on it. It's every Dundalk player, and it's just, again 7 yards out, looking for someone to come and attack it.
And a nice low enough trajectory on it as well. Here comes Heaney again. This time it's a little bit lower, and it's headed clear at the near post by Pat Hoban again. And he's bursting forward now. Hoban covered some amount of ground there in a short space of time, and he's up for the challenge with James Brown. All action player Hoban, and he looks like he's going to hit the ground running this season. He looks very fit. And here comes Conor Kane as Drogheda seek to get that equaliser. It's headed away by Andy Boyle. It's only come back as far as Conor Kane though. He's got Junior in front of him. He's laid it back to Killian Phillips. He plays a lovely ball into Chris Lyons, who hooks it back over his shoulder in the direction of Ryan O'Shea, but it was headed, or cleared away rather, by Dundalk. And here's Daniel O'Reilly as they put on a little bit of pressure here. Drogheda just trying to turn the screw and pin Dundalk back in for a few minutes and see if they can open a gap. Here's Boudiaf again. He was well dispossessed by Greg Sloggett. He was just trying to turn away the youngster. Sloggett was too wise for that one, and
it's excellent.
Chino Perez is in behind James Brown, is he? No, he wasn't able to get past him. It takes a pretty quick man to get past Brown there, and he just held his ground, the defender. And it was a hand on the shoulder from Perez, and he wasn't able to get ahead of the Drogheda defender, and the referee gives a free kick.
Again, McElhenney in the middle of the park, dropping in out of that 10 position. He's been pivotal to everything Dundalk have done in this second half. He has that pass in him, that penetration pass, just to break centre half and full back, and he's going to be massive, as we said before. We're trying to keep him fit this year.
Chris Shields takes the throw in from Rutkowskis. A lovely flick on from Junior, but unfortunately doesn't find a white shirt. Daniel O'Reilly intercepts it, but Dundalk have it back, and Pat Hooban on his hands and knees still manages the whole possession and lays it back to Peter Cherry. And Daniel Cleary once again.
You talk about the condition of players like Pat Hooban last year missed how many months of the season. Look at the condition they come back in now.
He looks like he's flying, doesn't he?
But the condition they come back in, like, geez, I remember years ago it was about getting someone to be fit when they were out after a long-term injury, you know. But it just goes to show you where the club is at and how far the league has came on, I suppose. Like, and that shows in the European journeys that these clubs go on now. You know, that's where things are at.
Flicked on by Jurkowskis there, and Conor Payne at his back, and it was cleared by Daniel O'Reilly. And that's going to be a throw in for Dundalk, which Jurkowskis is going to take. The Latvian international. And 13 on his back and the same number of caps for his country. Here's Chris Shields. Plays it into Jurkowskis again. He's got Ryan O'Shea for company. A bit of a size discrepancy in that one. Shields gets the cross in and, well, just popped up for a moment out of Colin McCabe's gloves, but he claims it safely enough at the second time of asking and rolls it out to Daniel O'Reilly. And here comes Drogheda again. Daniel O'Reilly plays the ball diagonally over towards James Brown, and he pushes forward, gets away from Perez. Pat McElhinney comes across the cover, and it's, well, he was trying to find Chris Lyons with the ball, but it was Daniel Cleary who stepped in and intercepted it. We've got just over 10 minutes to go in the game. 3-2 to Dundalk, and it's a throw in over on the far side of the field to the Lily Whites.
I think naturally you can see the intensity, Dave, has dropped a little bit now. Two teams kind of, it's evened out the game, hasn't it? Like, there's nobody really having a proper go now. I think it's one of them pre-season games now it's turned into.
Was possibly going into a little bit of a lull, but it's been a really interesting and exciting game for a pre-season friendly. Oftentimes these games can be a little bit flat, but there's no lack of intensity about this game for the most part today. And here's Chris Shields. Looks for a pass displayed to Daniel Cleary again. Shields kind of dropping right back in amongst his defenders. Another lovely ball from Daniel Cleary. I'd love to see his passing statistics today, because apart from a couple of loose ones in the first half, he's given away very little in terms of possession. And the great ball in, and it's headed clear. The referee gives a free kick. That was a really brave interception from Daniel O'Reilly. It was a good ball into the box. A couple of Dundalk players in there for it, but the defender getting into it first. And good bit of defending from O'Reilly there, Paul.
Yeah, he's covered across great, and he had to make the interception, didn't he? Because it's a great delivery. But going back again to Cleary's distribution, it's just getting them out all the time, isn't it? He's so hard to play against. You press him, he just plays over you, and he's picking people out constantly the whole time. Some stats, as you say, from ball retention.
Chris Lyons is trying to give Andy Boyle something to think about here, and Boyle is equal to the task, and it's gone out for a goal kick.
They haven't been able to get Chris Lyons into the game the whole second half, have they?
No, aside from the header in the first half, he's struggled. Even what he normally does a lot is wins free kicks, but he hasn't just really
but they haven't got the ball up to him in them areas. They're kind of playing balls down the side of him, so if he doesn't like that, he wants balls up in even around his chest. He'll hold things up, he'll get by you free kicks, and there might be a time in the game where they kind of need that little breather, where can they get the ball up to him in them areas.
Lovely ball across from McElhinney. He should have really been cut out by Conor Kane, but he just took his eye off it, and Jurkowskis got in, and it's played down the line towards Junior now by Chris Shields. Daniel O'Reilly is covering, so he's out of position, and just having to rearrange defensively a little bit. Drogheda. James Brown has come across, and he's on Pat Hoban now, and now Hoban has slipped onto Jack Shoot. Daniel O'Reilly still in the left back position, but he's trying to drift back into the centre back spot, but just for the moment he's going to see this one out. Gets the ball down the field, and here is Chris Lyons. Lovely chest down to Budiaf. Lovely bit of play from him. And now here's Killian Phillips, and it's just taken away from him, and Dundalk have it back, but Phillips, in fairness to him, wins it back straight away. And Drogheda go again. Jack Shoot into midfield. That's a loose ball, and it's gone beyond Luke Heaney, straight to Chris Shields. And here's Pat Hooban. James Brown comes across, gets the foot in, and now Greg Sloggett has it, the man who gave Dundalk the lead for the second time in the game a little while ago on 67 minutes, making it 3-2. Here's Pat McElhinney again. He's really enjoyed himself, I think it's safe to say, since he's come on. Here's Jurkowskis. Gets the ball in, and a great chance for Junior. Just couldn't get his head over it enough. And over the bar, another good opportunity for Dundalk. I think Shane Keegan, Filippo Giovannioli will be fairly happy with what they've seen in this game after a fairly slow start, Paul. But Dundalk have come into it nicely and look like at this point anyway that they're going to come away with the win.
Yeah, they started both halves, I think, quite slow, but they've came into it certainly. I think the changes have helped them in the second half. But don't forget again, we haven't mentioned, we're talking full-time outfit here against part-time outfit, and I think that's what's shown in the last 10-15 minutes maybe as well. Tired legs, you've got one team travelling from work with gear bags, and you've other teams in having their breakfast in the morning before training, so that obviously plays its toll,
and the have-nots in Louth football. And here come Dundalk looking to make it safe, and it was a nice bit of play from 𝗠𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛, McElhenney, and Hoban was trying to get on the end, and it's flicked in by Hoban again. Colin McCabe makes a very good save there. I don't think he expected that.
It's a great
ball came in and Hoban just flicked on. I think McCabe was caught a little bit off guard by that one.
Yeah, it's one of those reactions, isn't it? He's just stuck his two hands out, but no, he saved it. He'll tell you something different, I'm sure.
He did the important thing. He got his body in the way, and it's been a really enjoyable game, I must say. It's been great to be here. And here comes Drogheda United looking to get that equaliser. Swung into the box by James Brown over everybody. Safely claimed by Peter Cherry. Wearing a very fetching black and green outfit today, and Colin McCabe likewise in that bright orange ensemble down to our right. And here's Pat McElhenney again. Lovely ball again, just almost finding, was our Leahy pushing forward there, but they'll come away with it again. Drogheda United. And a long diagonal from Conor Kane towards Jordan Adigame, but Andy Boyle stepped across. Andy Boyle's had a fairly solid game today as well.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I know we've been raving about Daniel Cleary, but Boyle has done his job.
They've been good. And again, when you mention his name, I can't not mention his header again. Like, you'd be so disappointed. But no, they've been good at the back. Just as I said, I thought the one they would have been trying to stop, maybe leave Andy trying to get out from the ball and stop Cleary on it, but they haven't.
James Brown gets the cross in. It's over here towards Ryan O'Shea, and himself and Chris Lyons, neither one of them can quite do enough, and it's come back out. Daniel Cleary has it now, it's Junior. And Dundalk are just dicing with that a little bit in their own corner of the pitch, but it's a great ball again from Cleary. Chris Shields all on his own, and a lovely little bit of Paul Gascoigne-esque skill there from Chris Shields, lifting it over the head of Jordan Adigame and collecting it on the far side. And here comes Patrick McElhenney crossing the halfway line, rolls the ball out towards Chino Perez, and he's looking to get inside the box, and he has done. He's got a right foot. He plays it back across. Greg Sloggett has it. McElhenney again is going to have a go. He's looking like he might. Jordan Adigame gets back to cover him, but he gets away, and he's just toying with Jordan Adigame a little bit there. Patrick McElhenney. I'm not sure Adigame would have appreciated that too much, but lovely little bit of skill from McElhenney. The cross comes in, and it's James Brown who heads up into the air.
He's changed the game, McElhenney, hasn't he? I'm glad this is, some people are watching this as well as just listening to us, because they probably think we're just talking about the same players, but he's changed the second half for Dundalk, the way they play. How many times have they been able to get out through the centre halves now, through the middle, with him playing in there? Chris Shields has someone to feed when he gets on the ball. He's been excellent.
He just gives them something different, that's for sure. And here's Chino Perez with the corner over on the far side of the field. The man who signed from Tacoma Defiance, and Drogheda are going to need to show a little bit of defiance here to not concede another one. It's a good punch clear by Colin McCabe, got a good fist on that one, and that's the time to punch it. And you're coming through a sea of bodies like that, and assured play from McCabe.
He's done very well as well, hasn't he? Second half, he's had a lot to do. That's a big crowd to come in, and a great punch on the ball. But again, now a dangerous area.
Yes, and I think you recall he got a Man of the Match award against Shamrock Rovers. I think it was last season, maybe the season before, but certainly he's going to be pushing hard for number one spot. David Odumosu, obviously the man in possession, but McCabe, a really, really solid backup, and it's so important to have that kind of depth in your squad going into a Premier Division season.
Yeah, because you're coming up into the Premier Division, your keepers are going to be tested.
Perez, well, he's overhit that one. Yeah, just putting a little bit too much on that cross, and disappointingly from a Dundalk point of view goes harmlessly out for a goal kick to Drogheda United. We are into the last 2 minutes of normal time, and once again, as like in the first half, there haven't been too many stoppages. The referee may add on some time for the substitutions, but there haven't been any significant injuries or anything like that, so I imagine we won't have a whole lot of added time. Lower trajectory on that one from the keeper, and there's a spin on this which could kill it, and it did, but luckily enough Colin McCabe was out far enough to clear it, because the ball was backspinning ferociously there and from Daniel Cleary's clearance. It looked like it might just hold it up enough, but fortunately for Drogheda, and that's going to be a booking for Luke Heaney for sure.
It is, and
very cynical.
He'll take it, and you know what? He needed to make the tackle, because Chris
Shields
Shields
was
is bursting through the
forward
middle
there.
of the park, and I think he's nearly ready to pull the trigger or slip the ball through. But
so the third booking of the game by my reckoning, Chris Lyons and Chris Shields have already been booked, and now Luke Heaney going into the referee's notebook, and it's a free kick just outside the box.
could have been dangerous as well for Chris Shields. It was a real lunge right onto the ankle, like, you know, this sort of. He's got up from it and walked away. He's a tough lad.
So it's going to be Junior here. We've already seen one spectacular free kick at the other end. Will we see another?
He's had some career, Chris Shields. He's had really some. I remember battling with him here when he was with the likes of Bray Wanderers and stuff.
Up comes Junior, and McCabe, well, he batted it away. Looked like he may have been able to hold on to it, but he wasn't taking any chances. Yeah, you were saying there, Paul, Shields is he's such an influential figure, and we remember he missed that cup final a couple of years ago, but he's such a key player.
Listen, but technically, I'm talking about technically, what Stephen Kenny has done, like, we'll tell you how good of a coach he is alone by that player alone. I played here, and jeez, for 90 minutes sometimes we just have battles and we didn't entertain the ball at times, and that's what we did, and that's the way the game was a little bit back then. But how he's came on technically and what he's done for himself and this club has been outstanding.
Drawing his last throw of the dice, you'd imagine Colin McCabe knocks a long free kick from the halfway line up, and it's Daniel O'Reilly who's going for it, and that's gone out. No, it hasn't, it stayed in, and you're just into the first minute of added on time. As I said, I don't expect there to be too much of it. Drogheda look for this equaliser, and they haven't won a corner. It's a goal kick, and I think that might be the last chance of the game from Drogheda's point of view. Dundalk leading by 3-2. It looks like time almost up.
See Houben there, he's back helping the team out, he's back winning headers back in his own box. He's very old school centre forward, like, he's physical, he helps out in both boxes, like, you know.
Lovely take there from Jurkowskis, knocks it down towards Junior. He's a very composed figure, Junior. Just goes about his business. No histrionics or drama with him. He's had a good game. Had that half chance a few months ago with the header that went over the bar, but he's certainly looks like an addition to the setup here at Dundalk. As the time ticks on, we are now into the second minute of added time as Drogheda look to come out, and it's intercepted by Darragh Leahy. And bit of a scramble for possession over the far side of the field, and 𝗠𝗪𝗓 gets a lovely little slip ball to Chris Lyons. Now here come Drogheda, surely this is your last chance. Here's Adeyemo. Conor Kane is bombing forward on this near side. Adeyemo with Andy Boyle in front of him. And it's intercepted by Boyle. Adeyemo just couldn't shake him off. He's trying to win a free kick over on that far side of the field. Boyle just sticks his foot between the Drogheda attacker's legs and puts it out for a throw in to the home side. Brown takes it. 𝗠𝗪𝗓, but knocks it back to Daniel O'Reilly. Slips it down the line here towards Conor Kane. Comes inside. Plays the ball inside to Chris Lyons. He flicks one over the top. Jurkowskis comes across and covers it. Back to Lyons again. Slips it over to that far side, edge of the box. Adeyemo just inside the box now. He's got Perez in front of him. Puts back on his left, has a shot, it's blocked. And it looks like, as Dundalk come away with the ball, that may be the last opportunity for Drogheda United. Here comes Junior. McElhenney's making a lung busting run through the middle, and he's got Houben inside in his own. If he tries to play it to him, he does. Here's Pat Houben. He has a go, and it's
great save.
Good save by Colin McCabe. Dundalk just looking to hit them on the break. McElhenney could have gone himself there, decided to take the unselfish option and put Pat Houben in. Probably the right decision, Paul, but just a little, maybe force him just a little bit wide.
Just force him a little bit wide. I think it cuts the angle from McCabe, doesn't it? It was a great save again, though. He's tried to smash it into the top corner.
And with that goes the full-time whistle. No time for the corner to be taken, and a good workout for both sets of players and for both squads. Drogheda United certainly giving a good account of themselves here. Dundalk's greater quality and maybe a little bit of depth they have in that squad in terms of the players they can bring on. And remember, we didn't see any sign of Sonny Nadestad or Eric Mitskogen either. So those players are still to come in. There's a whole host of Dundalk panel members or squad members in front of us here and who didn't get a run out. But overall, Paul, a very entertaining game and a valuable workout for both sides. And certainly on the evidence of this, Dundalk will have plenty to say about the league title this year, but Drogheda, you would imagine, it looks like they'll be able to compete well in this division.
Yeah, it'll be a good test. It's a good test for them today. Like, you know, they're coming up against what they'll face as in one of the best teams in the league. For both sets of teams today, good intensity to the game, injury free. By the looks of things, maybe something we don't know about, but intriguing about Dundalk there. Like, you know, what it will be this starting 11 in a couple of weeks. That's where I feel they'll be behind. They'll be behind Rovers at the minute from the start anyway. But the depth and the quality, as you talked about there, like, is phenomenal. And as we see here to the left of us, 6 or 7 players in jackets that are to come into this as well. From Drogheda's point of view, great run out, more minutes under the belt, and a good test, as I said, against one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, so Drogheda, just to remind you, playing Waterford on the 19th of March. That's their first league game of the season. That game is now kicking off at 5:45. There was a miss was sent around by the FAI yesterday with the times of kick-off, so some games have changed to fit in with the television schedule, or the Watch LOI schedule at least. So Drogheda at home to Waterford on the 19th of March. Dundalk's first league game of the season is away to Sligo on the 20th of March at 6 p.m. in the showgrounds, and of course next Friday it's the President's Cup against Shamrock Rovers, so big one for them. But all in all, Paul, a very entertaining game as well, we should say. 3-2 to Dundalk, the final score. Probably they just about shaded it in the end. They probably had much better of the second half in terms of the pressure and the balance of play, but a very entertaining game and great to be here to watch it.
Yeah, brilliant to be out and watch a live game. My God, it's been a while. Hopefully we're all back a bit sooner to where we want to be. But yeah, as you said, it was more Dundalk, I think, the last 20-25 minutes, keeping the ball, making the other team work. We talked about it in the first half. They didn't do it enough, but an entertaining game, 5 goals, and very enjoyable to be here, sitting here watching it.
That's about it. That's just about it then from myself, David Sheehan and Paul Crowley. A really entertaining game, an exciting game of football here at Head in the Game Park, of course, renamed for the season. Formerly United Park, of course, but Head in the Game Park for the season that's in it, and a great initiative there from Drogheda United to support mental health and indeed keep that flag flying, as I said. It's so important for everybody to be aware of that. But that's just about it from myself, David Sheehan and Adam FM this afternoon. Great to be here, great to watch a very entertaining game. It has finished in a 3-2 win for Dundalk, but a really entertaining game, and we just can't wait for the season to start. That's just about it for myself. Have yourselves a very good Saturday evening.